time, hit the subscribe button and notifications so you always get notifications when I'm going live, and come walk with me wherever you're on the world. So can I keep this momentum going? I definitely am on the track of intermittent fasting, eating once every 24 hours, and so far so good. I was a little hungry last night, but I'm drinking more water, and I'm pushing myself to get up earlier. Although my sleep, I had kind of fallen asleep last night in my desk chair. I was on the computer around 11, which is funny because that's what time I went to bed the day before. And I finally got into my bed around 12 something, and I got up like 6 something. So I think I'm getting my sleep in there, just changing my rhythm, if you will. And that's great. Last fall, as I was leading up to fall, this is what I did, and I kept the walking going. I just really do believe it's because the summer was so hot that it threw me all off. Well, the summers are hot, right? It threw me all off. And now that it's cooling down a little bit, although today's should be nice as well, but not as crazy as it was in July and August. There was some serious heat wave that's going on that my body was just like so off, and my sleeping pattern was off because of it. Even though I have AC and all that, just keep on the new momentum, if you will, and the new pattern. It all kind of, I believe, works together. So anyway, I'm Steve Klein. I had some health issues. I took Advil and vomited blood, almost ended up, not in a good situation. I was in the hospital, and I'm going to say almost ended up dead, but it's actually true. They didn't know if I had cancer or an ulcer. Thank God I didn't have any of that. It was god-awful scary. And they told me if I didn't get on Nexium that I could develop that. So I listened to them, and with side effects, after 10 years of being on Nexium, finding I had bone loss, not good, I started looking into my wellness and wanted to do things naturally and really start digging in as to things like how the body works and what can work instead of medicines. I'm not saying for people not to do that. I'm not saying not to listen to your doctor, but I listened to natural doctors afterwards. I researched, and this is what they shared with me. And I'm off the medicine and feeling better, working on my absorption through this high-impact ginger turmeric and muscadine, and blood flow, and digestion, gut support, all that and more. So feeling good. And sorry, there's music going on over here. I'm on the track here walking, and people have a little music going on as they're working out. Anyway, I'm a little tired today for sure, but here I am, and I want to keep it going. And how about you? Are you tracking? And how are you believing when you set a goal like, fasting for 24 hours and walking? How are you tracking and thinking you can keep it going, right? Because each day is definitely a fight to make it happen. Each day you have obstacles, and each day you may not feel like it, and things get in the way, which is so true. So I'm just working on getting ready for the fall and setting even more goals in terms of keeping this momentum going with this fasting and walking and being healthy and taking some weight off and just feeling good and taking it to another level. So 90 days out, of course, it's going to keep going. I'll be having my convention in Las Vegas, and I want to make a big impact for that and feel good. I make balloon animals. My joke is I make balloon animals. I don't want to look like a balloon animal. So I want to make sure that I'm looking decent. We're having a balloon wedding, and as of right now, I'm the facilitator of it. I say that because it could be that I have an Elvis or somebody else that does it. I don't know yet, but I'm still the producer, right? So that doesn't change. But as of right now, I'm the one conducting it, meaning acting. It's not a real wedding, it's a renewal of the vows, but acting as the minister, which would be fun. I did that back in 2015. A lot of fun. So working on that. And yesterday I went into Boston to an older couple that I'm friends with. I picked her up at the hospital. She had a procedure done, and we ended up going out for lunch. It was very nice, and had a good day, and wanted to help them out. And then came home and worked on some more stuff, with what I'm working on with my convention and all kinds of things. So today, I want to get up early, get this done, go back home, hit some more things. I had to run to the grocery store quickly, return something that wasn't good, and have an amazing day, right? And that's all part of the momentum. So has anybody watching this got into serious keto and kept it going and struggling when you're doing that, or doing a 24-hour fast? And how does that going each day? I'd love to hear your comments and how you're overcoming that, and what are some extra little things that you do to push yourself. And yesterday I spoke about rewarding yourself, right? Which I haven't had a chance to do yet, but I plan on it. But I have a lot to do right now, so I might buy some keto ice cream, actually. We'll see. Although I'm doing the fast, I would have that, let's say, after my meal. So that way it's some good fats. We'll see. A couple spoons. I don't have to eat the whole thing by any means, right? But little things like that. So I was asking everybody yesterday what they would do to reward themselves of having a great accomplishment like that. But I think that keeping it going for like a week, several weeks as a new habit, or let's say 90 days, that's a big deal, right? And I'm not looking for perfection for myself or for you. I'm just looking for the best, intentions and the best we can do. And each day is definitely a day that we keep at it, and we keep, pushing ourselves to do better. But honestly, I'm not hungry, which is great. I don't feel hungry at all. And so I'm sure I'm in ketosis, and that's a good thing. I do have more energy in general and more clarity, which is good. And I'm definitely sleeping deeper and dreaming, which is great. Hello, Dr. Pummel. Welcome. Welcome. Where are you from? And are you a doctor, or is that just your name? I work with many doctors on my natural health quest. A lot of them are naturopaths, and they got some great information, and I love sharing with them. So I'd love to hear that on what path you're doing. Anyway, I would say come walk with me wherever you're on the world. I'm on a track right now for sure, but you can walk anywhere, right? This is rubberized, so it's good for the knees and all that, but you know what? I'm still walking other places. You do what you have to do as I'm traveling, or different things happen when it rains, gotta go to the mall, whatever. Just keep it moving. Walking is so great, and that's another commitment. But today we're talking about the continuation of, this 24-hour fast, and, how we can keep that moving and, being great. Now, as I've always said, sometimes you're in social situations where you have to go out to eat with people, or business meetings and things like that. I get it, but there's always ways of having just something to drink, or having something light, or letting them know what you're working on, right? And people understand. So, or I know my parents always say, don't be rude and have a bite of whatever it is, because they always felt that was, something that you just don't do. So I have their voices in my head, of course. But the truth is, if you're full, you're full. You can't keep eating, right? I mean, come on, right? And we're so, eating's become such a social sport, right? Everything's around food. And of course, my mom would always say, you eat to live, you don't live to eat. So I always have her voice with me on so many aspects. She was an amazing mom. I miss her so much. But with that said, how is how do we keep this going? I love to hear that. I mean, like I said, I have to write things down each day before I go to bed and clear it out of my mind and put the pen to paper, which I think makes it really powerful. And so literally you're not just walking the walk, talking the talk, but actually doing it and making the commitment. There's something about that, I feel, in terms of goals, that your subconscious mind just really registers when you put the pen to the paper, as they say. And just like goal setting, when you visualize something being done, right, you visualize yourself walking or doing the 24-hour fast and feeling healthy and losing weight and just feeling good. Your mind, over some time, when you really believe it, starts working towards that. So it's amazing how that works. And don't knock it till you try it, right? So I do believe in visualization. We can visualize everything first, right? And then work towards it to make it happen. I totally believe in that because I've done it. And it doesn't mean, like I said, that things are easy. It doesn't mean that you won't have challenges or struggles, right? Every day is a challenge and a struggle. It doesn't mean that people won't try to throw you off your game or situations, right? It doesn't mean any of that. So it's key, I think, to speak things as you want and to really have that intention. And by writing it down, I think it really helps. And talking about it like I am right now and sharing it with the right people that have your back and or on the same, working on a quest, a wellness quest as well, or working on their wellness goals. Your wellness is so key. And like I say, we all have so many stresses in life, and nothing else really matters except for your health when it comes down to it, because that's life and death. And I had that experience of being in a life and death experience. So I can tell you, choose life. I don't want anybody to feel what I felt or go through what I went through when I was vomiting blood. It was crapping at the same time. It was not a good feeling at all. Horrible. So I love to know what people are working on. I love to know people here that my avatar is reaching that are working on their wellness and keto/paleo, being ketosis, intermittent fasting, walking, all that stuff, watching what they put in their mouth and taking things like this high impact ginger, turmeric, and muscadine I take, which is like nothing else I've experienced. It's high impact, gets results, helps with absorption, blood flow, digestion, so many things, immune support, and it's amazing stuff that I swear by. So I haven't eaten today at all. Again, I did hard boil some eggs before I left. I put them in the fridge, and I think I'm going to end up having what I had the other day, where I have a can of tuna fish mixed up with cucumbers. I have to buy some cucumbers, make a cucumber salad with the eggs, and it should be yummy and filling. So I think I'm going to do that. So I got to get to a couple of stores, get a couple things. It should be amazing. And that'll be filling as well, right? And I won't end up eating anything after that. So after this, I'll go to the grocery store, and I'm going to keep hitting it here to get my miles in. And most likely I'll keep walking after I finish the live, right? And keep it going, which is great. So I have a lot on my list to do, a lot of stuff. And my foot's itchy here. And, how do you eat an elephant, guys? One bite at a time, right? When you make a decision to go walking, or you make a decision to, do the intermittent fasting, make a decision to do all these things, you just set that one goal and keep moving and focus on that one thing and get it done right, thoroughly, to the extreme that you can do, and then you hit the next one, right? So that way, at least you feel accomplished with that, even if you feel overwhelmed with so many things you think you should be doing, right? And I believe that when you focus on one good thing, everything else just flows in terms of what you need to do in life, and it just works out. So, a lot of people say they don't have the time to do this, time to do that. Well, they're chasing money or whatever it is, and that's important to some degree. But if you don't have the time, you're never going to make any. What good is it if you're dead, right? So that's what I say. So you got to make that priority and keep it moving, as I say. And again, keep the momentum going. That's what it is. As you start something, a new habit takes 30 days. That's what they say, I believe it is, that you keep it going, and it takes a minute, but you don't want to waver from that as you get that going, right? When I got on this YouTube station and started going live this past spring, I was like, wow, wait a minute, and I'm like, I got to keep this going because I've been doing it every day, not missing a beat. Now, last winter I talked about it being so bad with the snow here that my intention was to go and do that at the mall. I just couldn't because of the weather. Okay, it was very bad. But as soon as it broke and I still was able to come out here, even though there was ice and snow on this track, I was out here and I was doing what I could do to keep that going, right? So it's a commitment, and that's momentum. So with fasting, and again, I think that eating once a day, I had done that before, and I really had great results, right? And I've been researching it again. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a doctor. Check with your medical professional and all that. But I believe that that's a smart thing to do, especially what you're eating, right? I'm choosing to eat healthy things, that don't have sugar or carbs in it, or at least not, pastas and rice and potatoes and things like that, right? I'm choosing to do more things that are beneficial to my body, right? And again, nothing's perfect. We're just working on, getting the best we can do, and, keep it going, keep asking questions. I go to pubmed.gov, I look things up, I, chat with different naturopaths, get information from them. I look at things, which I've already was on that page before I found like Dr. Burke and people like that here on YouTube. But amazing information. Some of it I don't agree with. Some of it, doesn't make sense, a couple things. But that's where you have to do your own due diligence to understand and, what I say, cross your T's and dot your I's, right? Hello, Manuel, welcome. So with that said, are you working on a wellness quest? Are you working on your momentum of either walking or intermittent fasting, eating once a day? Are you on keto? Are you concerned about things like high blood pressure or diabetes or, God forbid, cancer, things like that? You're going through that. Many people that we're working with are going through those things. And lots of research has been done, but you have to do your own due diligence, talk to your doctors and stuff like that, but get another opinion with a naturopath. Many other things back some other research that you should look up and do your own due diligence. And doctors are not God, right? When they tell you something. When the doctor told me to be on Nexium for 10 years, I listened, and now I'm in this situation where I have bone loss. Okay, and I have no acid reflux at all now, none, and I've been off of it for a while. Okay, so you be your own doctor, as my mom would say, and you think. My mom, till she was 87, she was on no medication until they wanted her to be on some stuff and gave her too much. Okay, my mom was a true avid person about medicines, and I learned from these naturopaths that I worked with that saved my life. They got me on this regimen of, after almost dying and getting on this high-impact ginger, turmeric, and muscadine, that they told me, one went to medical school and said that they don't learn much on nutrition at all. And that's why he became a naturopath. And he said, if the body gets the right nutrition, it'll heal itself. The problem is our gut, our digestion, right, is all screwed up from all the bad foods that we've eaten, some medicines that are poisons, right, side effects, many different things, the environment. And It's like you're driving your automobile over a bunch of nails. You got to pull the nails out and patch the hole up and fill it back up with air. That's your gut, your digestion. And I learned that not all ginger and turmeric is the same. They've been lab tested. Sometimes it's rice colored, believe it or not. Okay, mine's high impact. I'm not trying to sell to you, I'm just telling you. It's lab tested twice independently, muscadine, and it helps me with blood flow, absorption, digestion, gut support, inflammation, all that it helps with. It's amazing. It's changed my life. So damage is done, right? Like I've damaged from the medicine, right? And it's not a quick process to heal that, okay? And it's an ongoing struggle. So just like making the decision to start fasting and eating once a day, right? And keeping that momentum going, it's a struggle, okay? Whether it's time struggle, whether it's mind struggle, whether it's commitment struggle, whether it's whatever the struggle is, we all have struggles, okay? And for the folks that understand that and they set that intention, they set that goal, they write it on paper, and they don't waver, okay? When we're human, sometimes it happens, saying sometimes there's things that you can't control. And what I say is, okay, so what? You can do it again, right? You can reset it again. Your life's not over, right? And we all go through times. When I went through the time of losing my mom, and when I was her caretaker, she did not want me eating keto. I mean, she was doing it. She wanted what she wanted. She's like a little kid. And I'm in the way here. These girls are running on the track. She was like a little kid. Her personality had changed a bit. And she was screaming at me to eat with her. And it was things that I knew were not good for me. I was in survival mode. And I just wanted to save her. So I did. And after that, because I had broken that strict keto, I was eating wrong stuff when I was I was healing mentally with the grieving process. And in some regards, healing was eating the wrong foods. So that's another form of healing. But I ended up getting a fatty liver. I ended up getting a few other things that were not going right. So I really looked at that and realized, okay, I need to get this right. So, like I said, I knew being on keto was right. I knew that watching my sugar and carbs and fasting was right. I wasn't ready at that time. So that happens too. But when I got some other health scares like that, finding out the fatty liver and a couple things like that, that sort of woke me up, right? Again. So we all have things in life that happen. We all have wake-up calls. We all have things that get us to recommit, okay? We all have things that change our thought processes. I was like a junk food junkie as a kid. Well, not when I say junk food junkie, not that bad. I just liked certain things that I didn't have at home, right? So I wanted Doritos and this and that, saying things like that. I can't stand it now, right? Ice cream was my big downfall. I still love ice cream, but, as a treat. So I'll have a keto ice cream, which gets my satisfaction in there. But with that said, they do say things are mind over matter. I understand that. But honestly, when you keep the momentum going, you feel like it becomes a natural habit and you feel better and you don't crave the sugars anymore. Yesterday, when we out to lunch with Mary Lou and John, I picked them up from Boston, from the hospital, and they took me out for lunch. It was really nice. I had salmon, and they wanted a Mississippi mud pie. They're like, are you sure you don't want some? And I said, absolutely not. I really don't even crave it. So, and they were kind of like surprised about that, but I'm not craving it. I don't want it. I know how I feel afterwards. So I just had extra drink, and I felt fine. Totally fine and satisfied. So that's momentum for you, is getting into it with anything else and keeping it going, right? And this is real talk. So I'd love to hear if people can relate to that. A couple people said hi in here, but no one's sharing their experiences. But please do. It really helps me. It helps my channel too. And I love to really know. And I promise to keep in touch. And if we can inspire each other, even better, right? So taking that momentum is always great, and keeping it going and being consistent and persistent, it's like magic, right? And it really is with everything you do in life. And I know life gets you in so many different directions. You know, you have different commitments. You have kids, you have, a spouse, you have family, you have an elder parent, you have bills, you have work, you have so many things. And it's not always easy. But when you prioritize what's most important, and I believe it's your health, and you really think about it, God forbid you have a health scare like I did, it really kind of resets your thoughts. It resets what is important to you, right? It resets a lot of things. So take that seriously and make that commitment, and make sure that you're not in a situation where, it could be too late, or you could have a health scare, right? Or you could have a wake-up call on some which way, right? It could be a loved one, it could be, yourself, it could be whatever, right? And it could be being overwhelmed, right? Which I have been myself, and I still get there. There's a lot going on in my life, a lot I still got to do and get caught up on through personal and business. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this took me so long. There's one project, yesterday I had a gal that asked me, and a few people asked me if I was gonna make up a flyer from my balloon convention and for decor. And my intention was to do it, and I said, okay, I got to do it right now. Well, I went to ChatGPT, and I'm sending it logos and this and that, and ChatGPT was acting really weird yesterday. So it took me literally 3 hours to get it right. And I don't know what was going on with ChatGPT yesterday, but I was putting it in. All of a sudden, something totally different pops out, like I'm a real estate agent, which I am actually, but I never told it that, and it made me like a different person. And that had nothing to do with the balloons. I was sharing what they made for me and asking to change one image, and it couldn't handle it. So it literally took me like 3 hours. Hello, Jowd Omar, welcome. And I was like, this is crazy. So I eventually, as they say, is delete the chat and then set up a new ChatGPT message, right? I did that several times. I still got a couple things wrong, but then I finally got it right. It took me like 3 hours, and I was like, oh my God, I'm exhausted at the end of that. So, and that one little thing took 3 hours, okay? So in life, when you have focuses, like I'm walking, it's a focus, it takes a couple hours to get in over 5 miles, get in 10 miles. It takes time, and not everybody has that time, I get it. But if it's 10 minutes a day, if it's 15 minutes a day, make that commitment, fit it in. It's something. If you're starting to intermediate fast and getting into ketosis, I would say try keto first, is my opinion, before you do that. And then if you get to a plateau, right, you want to shake your system up, that's what you do. And of course, always consult your medical professional, or do some more research and make sure that you feel comfortable with that, right? So that's what I did. Now, I was listening and watching some more stuff on YouTube about the 72-hour fast. I haven't done that. I know that I have a friend that I work with in wellness, Layla, big shout out to her. She's from New York. She lives in Vegas now. I got married there, moved there, and amazing person. And she did like a juice cleanse and did it for like weeks, months. I mean, I was like, whoa, when she was in New York, I was like, wow, I never did that. Like, good for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to shake the system up and make those decisions and see how the momentum goes on that and how are you doing. So it's key. I'm in the middle of these girls running. Gotta get over here. So I'm on a track, if you guys didn't know. So there's lots going on here. I don't know if they're getting ready for school or what they're getting ready for. So don't want to be anybody's way over here. Okay, I'm going this way. I think school's going to start soon, so different teams or whatever it is, they're practicing on this track. And I don't know when school starts. I think September, a few weeks, or less. Might be next week, actually. I don't know. But anyway, we have a nice breeze going on here. It's a great day. I think it's going to be in the 80s later on today. So I'm glad I came out now before it gets too warm. And I may walk later on tonight. We'll see as I tackle the day, right? And get these things rocking and rolling. So I have a few more projects, well, a lot of projects that I got to do and have my mind cleared. And by walking and being on this fast, my mind's clearer, which is great. My intention, my intensity of my intention on my focus feels better. So I think that's keeping the momentum going. I'm thinking about those things that are going good. And again, to me, the whole diet thing is more mental and more social about that. And it's true. I mean, they say that we all overeat. And again, I don't know what I don't know, but I was researching that too. They said during the Industrial Revolutions when they started talking about 3 meals a day. Again, I'm just researching and trying to figure that out myself and try to find information about that. And if you guys know about that, I'd love to hear that in the comments. If you know something I don't know on that, I'm just doing some research on it. And I find it very interesting. I know we all overeat in general. So I know that when you fast, you reset a lot of things in your stomach and your body that your body needs a rest, right? And I think that that's key. And the body is an amazing how it works. It really does function right when you give it the right things, you treat it right, give it a rest, you walk, all those things, right? So at the end of the day, as I always chat about, you can choose to make the decision to at least walk wherever you are. It doesn't cost you anything, right? Except for some time. There's always a place to walk. It could be the sidewalk, wherever it is, okay? You can make that decision each day and come walk with me. And let's inspire each other and let's share things with each other on my wellness journey and your wellness journey, because we all learn from each other. I think that's key. And as I always say, if this inspires you to create your own YouTube station and come walking, please let me know. I would love to subscribe and support you as well and hear your story. Now, I do run a wellness quest, totally complimentary, costs you nothing. And it's a commitment where it's like a 9-week commitment. And we have teams of 5. I have multiple teams from around the world. And if you're working on, let's say, keto, you're working on, weight loss, you're working on building muscle, you're working on, walking, whatever it is, just being healthy. It's whatever you want to focus on and you make that commitment. And there's prizes as well. And we have a Facebook group where we inspire each other. We have virtual workouts, all complimentary, no charge. And there's actually prizes. You can win t-shirts. You can win, free products as well. I won last time 3 bottles of our ginger and 2 bottles of turmeric. It was amazing. So what's wrong with that, right? Nothing. So you can send me a message. Love you to join. And if you'd like to do a health survey, that's what saved my life. These natural paths. I have a friend I work with. She had internal organ failure, saved her life too. And when you start understanding the body, you start understanding the questions to ask yourself on hard tissue, on soft tissue, on sugar and digestion. Things like, do you wake up during the night? Do you feel tired? Do you have cracks in the back of your foot? They all mean something. And once you research it, you'll understand it. Again, this was made by 500 naturopaths, not me, and it kind of speaks to you. And it just tells you what's going on. And I find it to be really, really great because you can keep tracking it. And that changed my life. It's amazing. I've shared that with some other naturopaths that didn't know about this. Said, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I said, yeah, I feel the same way. And I help a lot of people fill them out, understand it, and sometimes I forget about myself, right? And I have to look back at it, but I know my stuff, and we're all human that way. Like I said, we all need each other. We all need to revisit that, and we all need to track every little thing because it will explain to you what's going on. As people would say, in general, that the body tells you what you need, the body tells you what you crave sometimes, things like that. right? I think that's a lot of truth to that. So send me a message. Be happy to help you. Like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We passed 260 onto 300 of like-minded people. And please put a comment in. I'll make this public in a minute. I'll have my information in there when I get home. Okay, so you guys can add to it, or whatever it is. Send me a message. My email, which is in my other videos you can look at. And I do get back to people. I will respond. And I just want you guys to know you too can keep the momentum going if you started keto, intermittent fasting, walking, and keep going. Don't let anything distract you. And the environment, family, friends, work, make that commitment that your health is a priority. And I'll see you guys tomorrow live, over and out. Thanks so much, everybody.